Beneath the veneer of our modern existence lies an ancient ritual of profound transformation, a sacred technology so powerful that its complete methodology has been systematically obscured from public knowledge for millennia. Carl Jung, in his Dui's most esoteric writings, alluded to this forgotten practice that activates all four energy bodies, unlocking dormant spiritual capacities that modern institutions would prefer remain dormant. What few realize is that Jung's entire psychological system was designed as a contemporary restoration of this ancient initiation sequence, disguised in the language of analytical psychology to bypass the gatekeepers of conventional thought. The ritual's potency lies in its systematic approach to consciousness expansion, moving sequentially through dreams, shadow integration, archetypal engagement, and inner alchemy to create a complete circuit of spiritual awakening. While countless modern practitioners focus on isolated techniques, they remain unaware that these practices were designed to work in precise sequence, each building upon the previous activation to create a harmonic resonance between individual consciousness and universal intelligence. This isn't merely psychological growth. It's the restoration of humanity's multidimensional perception, deliberately suppressed to maintain systems of spiritual control. What makes this ritual particularly dangerous to established power structures is that it requires no external authority, no expensive retreats, and no special genetic lineage, only the courage to face oneself completely and the persistence to follow the alchemical process to its conclusion. The four energy bodies, etheric, emotional, mental, and causal, represent the complete spiritual anatomy referenced by diverse traditions worldwide, from the subtle bodies of Eastern philosophies to the spiritual vehicles described in Western mystery traditions. Their sequential activation unlocks capabilities ranging from enhanced intuition to direct spiritual perception beyond symbolic intermediaries. In this exploration, we'll decode Jung's veiled instructions for this forgotten ritual, revealing how his concepts of dream analysis, shadow work, archetypal integration, and individuation comprise a complete system for spiritual liberation. You'll discover why certain experiences have been systematically dismissed as mere imagination by materialist paradigms, how to recognize the signs of each energy body's activation, and the precise practices that facilitate the harmonic resonance between these dimensions of consciousness. This knowledge represents not merely personal transformation, but participation in humanity's collective awakening to its true multidimensional nature. In the mysterious depths of our slumber lies a gateway to the collective unconscious, a concept deeply explored by Carl Jung throughout his transformative work. Within this realm of dreams, we encounter symbols and archetypes that transcend cultural boundaries, speaking a universal language that has guided humanity for millennia. The unconscious mind, according to Jung, operates as a vast reservoir of wisdom, containing not only our personal experiences, but also the accumulated spiritual knowledge of our ancestors, woven into the fabric of our psyche. The ritual of dream analysis, as prescribed by Jung, involves entering a state of active imagination, where the conscious and unconscious minds meet in harmonious dialogue. This sacred practice enables us to connect with the hidden dimensions of our soul, revealing truths that remain obscured during our waking hours. By recording and interpreting these nocturnal messages, we initiate a profound journey of self-discovery, unlocking the coded language through which our higher self communicates essential guidance for our soul journey. Many find that certain symbols appear repeatedly, creating a personal lexicon of spiritual signposts. What most practitioners fail to realize is that dream work serves as the initial activation of the first energy body, the etheric body, which Jung identified as the bridge between our physical form and the more subtle aspects of our energetic anatomy. This activation process occurs naturally during REM sleep, but the ancient practice of conscious dream interpretation amplifies this effect, creating resonant vibrations that cleanse energetic blockages accumulated during waking consciousness. The etheric body, when properly engaged through dream work, begins to vibrate at higher frequencies, allowing for enhanced intuition and spiritual receptivity. This vibrational shift creates the foundation for all subsequent energetic awakening. making dream analysis not merely a psychological exercise, but a crucial spiritual technology preserved from ancient mystery schools. The connection between dream symbols and universal consciousness reveals itself gradually as one develops proficiency in this practice, with each symbol serving as a key to unlock specific aspects of our multidimensional reality. As we delve deeper into the second aspect of this forgotten ritual, we discover how the shadow work process catalyzes the activation of our second energy body. The shadow, in Jungian psychology, represents those aspects of ourselves we have consciously or unconsciously rejected, forming a repository of denied potential that paradoxically holds tremendous power for our spiritual transformation. Jung discovered that these disowned parts of our psyche do not simply disappear when ignored. They transmute into autonomous complexes that influence our behavior in ways we fail to recognize. By avoiding confrontation with our shadow elements, we inadvertently surrender control over significant portions of our life force energy, leaving us spiritually depleted and psychologically fragmented. The ancient alchemical maxim, "as above, so below," finds profound expression in shadow integration work, which Jung recognized as the sacred process of psychological alchemy. When we courageously face these rejected aspects of ourselves, we initiate the activation of our second energy body, the emotional body, which resonates with the transformative energy of divine acceptance. This energy body, when awakened through shadow work, begins to operate as a powerful transmutation field, converting previously destructive emotional patterns into sources of creative inspiration and spiritual resilience. What remains hidden from conventional spiritual discourse is that shadow integration represents the sacred marriage of opposites that ancient mystery traditions encoded in their most guarded initiatory rites. The emotional body, once fully activated, dissolves the artificial barriers between conscious and unconscious awareness, allowing for a more holistic experience of reality beyond the limitations of dualistic perception. The suppressed wisdom contained within your shadow aspects contains precisely the medicine your soul requires for its evolution, offering solutions to obstacles that have persistently challenged you throughout your life journey. This sacred process of integration creates an energetic current that flows between the first and second energy bodies, establishing a harmonious circuit that ancient traditions described as the formation of the immortal vessel. As this circuit strengthens through consistent shadow work, spontaneous insights and synchronicities begin to manifest with increasing frequency, indicating the activation of previously dormant spiritual faculties within the psyche. The third phase of this forgotten ritual involves the deliberate engagement with universal archetypes, which serves to awaken the third energy body and further expand our connection to the cosmic dimensions of consciousness. The archetypal realm represents what Jung considered the structural foundation of the collective unconscious, eternal patterns that manifest across cultures, appearing in our dreams, myths, and religious symbolism with remarkable consistency. These primordial images function as energetic templates that organize human experience, transcending time and cultural boundaries while offering a map to navigate the complex territory of psychological and spiritual development. Within each archetype exists a concentrated field of transformative potential, containing both light and shadow aspects that must be consciously integrated to access their full evolutionary power. The hero archetype initiates the journey of ego development, while the shadow preserves our disowned qualities. The anima animus facilitates our relationship with the opposite gender energies within us, and the self represents the central organizing principle of the psyche, the divine spark around which all other elements constellate. Jung discovered that deliberate engagement with these universal patterns activates the third energy body, the mental body, which governs our conceptual understanding and intellectual integration of spiritual experiences. This activation expands our consciousness beyond personal identity, allowing us to perceive reality through a more universal lens. What few modern practitioners realize is that the ancient mystery schools designed specific initiation rituals to systematically activate each archetype within the initiate's consciousness, creating a sequential awakening that aligned individual awareness with cosmic principles. The mental body, when properly activated through archetypal work, develops the capacity to perceive the underlying geometric patterns and frequency codes that structure manifest reality. This perceptual shift reveals the hidden dimensions that interpenetrate our physical world, allowing for conscious interaction with the universal codes that govern creation. As you work with archetypes, you essentially reorganize your mental body according to their divine templates, clearing distorted thought patterns that have accumulated through cultural conditioning and personal trauma. The resonance between your individual consciousness and these universal patterns creates a harmonious field that ancient traditions called the crown of stars, a metaphor for the activated mental body that has aligned with cosmic intelligence. This alignment prepares the initiate for the most profound aspect of the forgotten ritual, the awakening of the fourth energy body through inner alchemy, which transcends the limitations of conceptual understanding altogether. Inner alchemy represents the culmination of Jung's psychological system, a transformative process that transmutes the lead of unconscious conditioning into the gold of spiritual awakening. Unlike conventional psychology that seeks merely to adjust the individual to social norms, alchemical psychology aims at nothing less than the complete rebirth of consciousness through the integration of all psychic elements. This sacred science operates through the principle of solve et coagula, dissolve and recombine, where existing psychological structures are broken down and reconstituted at higher levels of organization and spiritual refinement. The alchemical wedding of opposites within the psyche, conscious and unconscious, masculine and feminine, light and shadow, creates an energetic reaction that activates the fourth energy body, which Jung referred to in esoteric circles as the causal or intuitive body. This highest energy center functions as a direct channel to universal consciousness, transcending the limitations of personal identity and conceptual thought. Ancient traditions worldwide recognize this body using different terminologies, but all concurred that its awakening represented the pinnacle of spiritual attainment, what Eastern traditions call enlightenment. What modern seekers rarely discover is that this fourth activation cannot be achieved through intellectual understanding or isolated practices, but only through the sequential awakening and integration of the preceding three energy bodies in proper alignment. The ritual forgotten by time refers to this systematic process of energetic activation, moving from the etheric body through dream work to the emotional body through shadow integration, to the mental body through archetypal engagement, and finally to the causal body through inner alchemy. This sequence creates a harmonic resonance that ancient initiates called the music of the spheres. The fully activated causal body allows for direct spiritual perception beyond symbolic representation, enabling what Jung termed synchronistic perception, the ability to recognize the meaningful patterns connecting seemingly unrelated events across time and space. At this level of consciousness, the distinction between inner and outer reality dissolves, revealing the unified field of divine intelligence that permeates all existence. The ritual's ultimate purpose is not merely personal transformation, but the restoration of humanity's rightful place as conscious co-creators within the cosmic order, awakening dormant spiritual capacities that have been systematically suppressed by materialistic worldviews. The convergence between Jungian psychology and ancient wisdom traditions reveals a striking pattern that transcends mere coincidence, suggesting instead a continuous thread of esoteric knowledge preserved through countless generations. Jung himself discovered these parallels during his extensive research into alchemy, Gnosticism, Eastern philosophy, and indigenous spiritual practices, recognizing that his modern psychological insights had been encoded in symbolic form by traditions predating modern science by millennia. This realization led him to conclude that the collective unconscious contains not only archetypes, but also the accumulated spiritual technology of humanity, preserved in the psyche's deepest strata. The Hermetic axiom, as above, so below, finds perfect expression in Jung's concept of the microcosm, reflecting the macrocosm, where the individual psyche mirrors the structure of universal consciousness. Similarly, Eastern concepts like the chakra system align remarkably with Jung's understanding of energy bodies, suggesting that ancient practitioners had mapped the same psycho-spiritual anatomy through direct experience rather than theoretical speculation. The Egyptian mystery schools, with their emphasis on the afterlife journey, parallel Jung's notions of psychic death and rebirth required for genuine transformation and the integration of consciousness with broader cosmic dimensions. What remains hidden from conventional academic discourse is that these ancient traditions developed specific vibrational technologies designed to activate each energy body sequentially using sacred sound, geometric forms, and ritual movements calibrated to specific frequency ranges. These practices were systematically removed from public spiritual teaching during periods of religious suppression, preserved only within secretive lineages, and encoded within seemingly innocuous cultural artifacts. The suppression of this knowledge was not accidental, but represented a deliberate attempt to prevent humanity from accessing its full spiritual potential and autonomy. The ritual forgotten by time represents the distilled essence of these practices, reconstructed by Jung through his exploration of dreams, active imagination, and the symbolic language of the unconscious. By recognizing the universal patterns underlying diverse spiritual traditions, he created a psychological framework that transcends cultural limitations while honoring the unique contributions of each wisdom lineage. The restoration of this integrated approach to spiritual development offers a pathway beyond the fragmentation of modern consciousness, reconnecting us with ancestral wisdom while embracing the evolutionary potential of contemporary understanding and emerging spiritual technologies. The ritual forgotten by time that awakens all four energy bodies represents far more than an interesting psychological theory. It offers a comprehensive pathway to spiritual sovereignty that transcends the limitations of conventional consciousness. By working systematically through the four phases, dream work for etheric activation, shadow integration for emotional awakening, archetypal engagement for mental expansion, and inner alchemy for causal body illumination, you participate in the restoration of humanity's spiritual birthright. This sacred technology, preserved through the symbolic language of dreams and myths, reveals the extraordinary capacities lying dormant within ordinary consciousness. As Carl Jung discovered through his own profound inner journey, the boundaries between psychology and spirituality dissolve when explored with sufficient depth and courage. The energy bodies awakened through this forgotten ritual don't represent abstract concepts, but living dimensions of your own multidimensional anatomy, aspects of yourself that have been waiting for recognition and integration. Each activation expands your perception beyond conventional reality, revealing the interconnected nature of existence and your place within the cosmic order. The synchronicities, intuitive flashes, and expanded awareness you'll experience are not anomalies but the natural state of consciousness operating at its full potential. Remember that this journey unfolds according to your soul's unique timing. Some energy bodies may activate quickly, while others require patient, persistent engagement over time. The ancient initiates understood that genuine transformation cannot be rushed, but must follow the natural rhythm of spiritual unfoldment, with each integration creating the foundation for the next level of awakening. Trust the process, honor your experiences, and recognize that the challenges you encounter represent opportunities for the transmutation of consciousness that precedes each expansion of awareness. We invite you to subscribe to our channel for more explorations of the hidden dimensions of consciousness and forgotten spiritual technologies. Share in the comments which aspect of this forgotten ritual resonated most deeply with you. Was it the dreamwork practices, shadow integration, archetypal engagement, or inner alchemy? Your insights contribute to our collective understanding of these transformative processes. And be sure to watch our next video appearing on your screen now, where we'll explore Jung's secret teachings on accessing alternate timelines through the activation of the pineal gland, knowledge that reshapes our understanding of reality itself.